So you have lots of choices to add color to your mandala. You want to make sure that all the lines are sharpied and that they all connect before you add any color to them. Crayons, color pencils, markers, paint, sharpies, even color pens if you have. Whatever you choose to use, it's fine. You can use as many colors as you like, but you want the colors to repeat at some point somewhere. So don't use like all the colors in the rainbow and they don't repeat. You also want to remember that you need to have some kind of pattern so that it has symmetry with it. I think I'm going to use the color pencils. So for that, I'm going to start with my lightest color and work my way to darkest. So yellow. If you're coloring, the only time it only matters if you go inside to outside if you're painting, because you don't want to drag your hand across wet paint. So I could choose to start anywhere with anything that I know that I want yellow. But I'll just say to start, I'll just want these triangles to be yellow. So I'm going to slowly and carefully just color all of them yellow. I can make a pattern and choose to do like maybe yellow green, or do them all yellow or whatever, but you want to again make sure that you're not just coloring them random. You are coloring with a plan. There needs to be some kind of repeats somewhere. So this would be yellow, all this would be, I could even work out my color plan quickly like this as I'm doing, so I could know and not get lost in the next round. So I know I want that to be yellow. Maybe I want this to be yellow here. Probably every other one of, maybe every other one of these. I'll skip two like that. But you don't have to do this for this part. This takes a while. I'm just doing it so that you can see how it would look, how the pattern would look. But you should take your time and really focus on going one layer at a time, okay, round and round. I'm just doing this so that you could see what kind of pattern I would choose to do on it. Skip one there, and that brings me back around. So again, I'm working lightest to darkest. It's just a habit. You can always cover, most of the time you can cover a lighter color with a darker color. So I'm doing yellow, then maybe I would want these little stripes orange, but I'm going to color it carefully and neatly. I don't want to leave any white spaces. So I'm going to carefully color it. I'm just doing a quick color sketch, just again, so you could see what the colors would look like all the way around. And then building and building as I go, completely covering everything. Every shape has its own color. There's no next door neighbors of the same color. So like this triangle is yellow. I wouldn't do this triangle yellow because that touches that one. I'd choose a new color. Even though it's on a different circle or different layer, I just wouldn't put, there's too many colors for it to be right next to each other. It can be on a different line, but just right not next to each other. Don't leave any white spaces, like unless that's really part of your color plan. We don't want to have too much white space in it. Like the paper is white, but we don't want to see the white on it, but you want to fill it in with as much color as you can. So don't like leave any spaces white. And just make sure you kind of go slowly and carefully and stay in the lines. If your lines aren't connected, you want to always go back with the Sharpie and just touch them in and make sure that they do connect. You can do that as you go, as you realize, oh, I made a mistake, and you can do it then, or you can always go back and fix it. It might be best to do it when you see it, that way you won't forget. It helps you to remember. But again, that's what it is. Each layer has its own design and color design, color pattern. The colors are going to repeat, so I would repeat orange down here. Maybe I'd make these big ones orange, every other one too. I could do You do like an AB pattern, AABB, whatever, you know, whatever way you wanted to do it. But that's what we're doing. We're building on color as you go. And this is the same technique. If you do markers, I wouldn't do this with marker, like do the color sample, because then sometimes it doesn't, like, you'll be able to see the dot. So if you're gonna do it with markers, then you should actually color the whole thing in. Like, this only works for like crayons or color pencils, because you can go back over it. If you did it with marker, maybe you would put like a small dot or something just so that you would know. But don't do this and then try to go back in later and fill it in, because you'd be able to see that. So this technique, color swatching, only works for crayons and color pencils, I'd say. Happy coloring!